Okay, with the Enigma machine, I was asked to take a look at this. This is a machine which is nothing more than a sigil maker in reality, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the Enigma, or the idea of the puzzle or hidden meaning, a riddle, first and foremost, so that this is perfectly clear and there is no question after this. War's a hoax. That war, yeah, that war, yes, that war, and this, yes, the Civil War, yes, 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 a hoax. And by hoax, what do I mean? Controlled demolition, strategic relocation. Yes, all that stuff was bought, and all that stuff was built, and all that stuff was sent over. It's just that all that stuff was not dropped and shot at anyone. All right? All that stuff was dropped and shot at buildings that were purposed to come down for that reason. You were then given shows and movies and actual acting in lieu of your war. You desired a war. They told you it was a war. You believed it. And then you got what you deserved, which was a lie. So this is nothing more than a mathematical equation, quite frankly. And if you look at the idea of a sigil, now a sigil is the idea of hiding a power through a combination of, in this case, three, a wheel within a wheel within a wheel, okay? Now, if I make this sign, and that sign can mean all your so-called spiritual influences have their own signs as well, whether it be Venus, Jupiter, Saturn. Of course, Venus would be related to the 7 idea, also then relating into the female aspect of the 3, being that the G, or the center, is the Phoenician for that. That's just relating into the best way to tell you. An avenue through, I guess, would be the way to say that, because think about this: if you have your 1, 2 into your 3, the 3 plus 2 plus 1, making your 6, then what comes after 6? The 7, right? So to move forward and to put a finer point on that, this was not meant obviously for anything. There was no war planning going on, so it's meant for a couple reasons. It's meant to send a message on the second plane, but then have a third plane of existence with a true meaning. Okay, so you have the first message, which looks to the eye to be gibberish. The second message, which is in fact a usable, discernible order. The third being the true meaning of the correspondence. Does that make sense? So you have you have an audience for the second, which is all your manufacturing and moving and getting people into position. The so-called war, the controlled demolition and strategic relocation, happens at that middle level. Then at that third level, that third wheel, that third understanding, then you have the truthful information, or what is what needs to be told to those who are running the show. All right? So then if I look at this, what's interesting about this is that you have the A code, or the A key, which would be, I'm going to get into some mathematics in a minute, but the A, if for this case, let's say, represents the 1 and the 4 represents the D. All right. If you then, the A is encoded to the 4, so the 1 is encoded to the 4. All right. 1 and then to the 4, making the 5. All right. The 5 being the running man, or the doll, the dollette, the doll, and then what? The light, or the lamp that then moves that doll, would be then the 6. Flipped 6, the 9, making the tet. All right. So you have the water, the wall, that sustains the person with the tet, or the mind of the message. All right. Notice this is nothing more than an encapsulated a circuit, which in fact, when you leave the typewritten, your typewritten letter or number, you'll go through a series of wheels. And in this case, it's set up for 4 wheels. All right. I believe that these went anywhere from 4 to 6, something like that, or maybe 5. In theory, you can have as many wheels as you want. It really doesn't matter. You just have to have the ability to then decode. This denotes to me what I told you before about the 3 individual meanings. All right, one looking like gibberish, one looking like the message that was meant to be. Hey, send the socks and the powdered milk, you know, that kind of thing. The third being also in order, yet of a different kind. Okay. Anyway, so moving forward, this is creating the idea of the sigil. Sigils again are the powers that be, the powers that be, the powers that move, the powers of the air. All right. Does that make any sense? So then, depending on what you want to use, powers, colors, or numbers, colors, words, they're all this different version of the same thing. They're all motivations. And then if I have, or if the person that you're listening to has a motivation, has an intent to deceive you, they can then take this and say, okay, look at this, it goes around, yeah, it makes this, and then it can look like it makes sense to you, but it was just what they, you know, a misdirection. All right, this is nothing more, as you can tell. Please look at this. Nothing more than simple alphabet, numeric. There's numerics on here as well, on the wheels, that are then placed in order. This order must be maintained in order to decode this. All right, so it's not that magical. It's more than just the idea of complicated. Not the idea that complicated means that it doesn't make sense. It actually makes very much sense, but you have to take each wheel at a time. And if I say that a wheel that is rotating, let's say clockwise, all right. Now, if I put a gear wheel to a gear wheel that's rotating clockwise, and I put it right to the bottom, now what direction does it go? It's going to start going counterclockwise. All right. So just keep is understanding, just knowing. This goes into more kind of the idea of the encryption side. This is a working encryption device, but what my point is, being that war is a hoax, the idea and the meaning behind this is much deeper. It has a spiritual wheel beyond that, which is the wheel that people read, and like I said, reorders the beans and whatnot. All right. I'd like to go ahead and show you that what I have noticed is that it's basically your standard keyboard, with the exception of, let's say, you know, the Z is obviously replaced. There would be a Y there, and then where the F is down at the bottom, where it's kind of the F and Y, you know, your standard keyboard ends at the Z and the X. I was just noticing that. So it might just be over time that people, and just the way people's you know, it's when you're building a business, you're always looking for the idea of productivity. So it just may be that it became prudent to move these keys when you were applying it to a typewriter. All right. So anyways, this goes through that. What I wanted to really do was just to tell you that the way this is manufactured wholesale, basically. I mean, this stuff's coming off of a shelf somewhere, so this is obviously not anything new. And in fact, this is nothing more than gematria by the time you're done with it. This is nothing more than gematria, really, in a mechanical form. And before I run out of time, this may or may not have answered your question. I'm just not that impressed with this being, it's right on page number 7 of all things. Of course, I've talked to you about that. Okay, this will be very quick, just to run through the basics that you probably already know from if you watch my previous videos. The third spot, the gamal, what looks to you like a 7. If you recall in the video, the person's finger was over the Z key, and of course that was creating the illusion that all you could see was the 7. Of course, going into the 7th position being the Zayin. Cover that, you have the 7. That's the 3-7 position. Alright, the idea of the Z, the Zayin. So then understanding the 3 7s going into the 21, the idea of the blackjack. To the head, the idea of the palm, cough, the idea of going into the 11, the 9, 11. Alright, then you decide to go into that position. You decide to go into that door, and I will show you how that's created. I will show you how this. Now, first off, you have to corrupt one of the sides. So if you have an even 10 and a 10, a 2 position, a 1 0 1 0. If you drop one position, you corrupt it. You then change the equation. Okay. Let me show you that. You add then the new 2 becomes the K. The idea of the cough again. Alright, do you see that? Then that becomes this. Alright, you need to go then take a look at the top line, becomes your 3. Your second line, your 3. That's going to be your 2, 3 ideas. Alright, moving into your third line, becoming the 5, or the 3 plus the 2, or the 23 into the death. Alright, so then your 3 becomes death. 3 into the idea of the 23. Alright, making your 8 going into the idea. Now, if you want to go ahead and look, what's missing here is you have some numbers missing. I'm going to show you how in the replacement code that all that then comes back into play down the road through reduction. Okay? Okay. So then if you recall, with the real quickly, just to show you the idea of letters and just to make sure you did not miss the point, the idea that this is being a door, right? The 4th position. Okay? The doll, the dollette, the doll, do you go through that door? Then that door can be represented not only with the 2 7s, thinking of in the this type of box, all right, but can also be then redrawn and flipped and shown to you like a triangle. But this then represents only half of the area and shown and then compressed into this what's called the Star of David, or you can see that that's the red, black, and the white of the satanic. The idea of the Luciferian and flipping things upside down and keeping someone contained, all right, within the wall, or the H, or the 8, all right, the 6 making the 8, all right. I've illustrated that again here for you. The 6, of course, the 6, the cube, the box having the 8 sides. Okay, that then bringing in the idea of the 6 into the 8, 68, the 68 system, or the 86 system, the hook, the wall, into the wall, slap against the wall, pow, slap, pow, 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 with the head in between. Now back to this, going through and filling in the rest of the numbers. You'll see that I'm missing a few numbers until they show up in the mirrored plane, I should say, in the space between. 3 numbers show up missing, the 12, the 14, and the 16. Of course, you can see that they are then shown in the line above, with the exception of the one letter that, or the one number that needs to be dropped to give you those, leaving with the 357, the magnum idea, the 6 into the 15 into the 6, the cube. All right. So, anyways, that's if you have any questions, let me know. Be blessed, man. It's all good. I'd be free in Christ, Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the life, through which you're given the Comforter. You don't even have to listen to me, man. Just go talk to him directly. Have a great day.